Okay, so let's start to look at some keywords. So let's start with the one we know. Okay, so I've got a extension here which is called Keywords Everywhere. So what that does is every time you type in a keyword, it will give you the search volume, the cost per click for the industry, and it'll also give you a lot of related keywords here. Okay, so what we're going to do is start to make a list. Just going to do this old school, just in Notepad. Okay, so we could start to work our way down the list and see what's relevant. Headstones, Brisbane. Okay. Okay, so nothing super relevant there, but what we can do is just click on this one and it will give us another list of ideas. Monumental Masons, Brisbane, that's one we can use. Okay, so that's one that's more of a blog article. That's just a variation on the starting one, so we'll automatically cover that by trying to rank for stonemasons Brisbane. We'll automatically rank pretty well for Brisbane stonemason, so we may just need to include that variation once or twice to make sure we rank at the top for that as well. Okay, so not getting a huge amount of different keywords here. Okay, so I'll go back and I'll click on monumental. Okay, so someone's Google Places has jumped in here, so we won't get, oh yeah, we'll still get it at the bottom. Okay, so there's really not too many keywords here. So this will be a pretty simple build out. If we jump back over to our document here, so what we want to do is we want to have our home page, and then we want to have one for each of these keywords. Call it a services type page, but if we copy that, okay, so there's three. What we might also do is just quickly check some of the competitors to see what they're using. Okay, so we might check a couple of these out and see if there's any. Okay, memorials. Okay, so that one doesn't have too much. Okay, so I'm guessing this service is fairly specific, so we probably don't want to worry about adding that one, adding stone blasting. Okay, so there's a tiny little bit of search volume for stone signage, but that's Australia wide, so I wouldn't really worry about that. Okay, let's check the next one. Okay, so this it's just a one-page website. Okay, so this one has a little bit of search volume, but this time, because we've added the geographical term Brisbane, that 20 makes it worth actually creating a page for it. Okay, so it's really looking like it's not going to, let's just... Here's one here, Stonemason, Brisbane Northside. Just check that's not anybody's actual brand name. No, it's not. So it doesn't seem to be any traffic on the south. So this particular one, it's very, very similar to our keyword here, so we probably won't create a specific page for it. What we might do is just make sure we include the word Northside on this page, and that should be enough to rank for this variation as well. But we'll create a new page for this one. Okay, so usually this would be a little bit bigger. It seems a fairly unambiguous industry with only a few kind of relevant keywords, which means we can keep it reasonably small in terms of our build. So it's not going to be a massive page. Sorry, not going to be a massive website we build out. But this is enough now. So what I would do is move on to, so we've got our keywords here. We've kind of mapped it out to our URL structure. What we need to do now is work out how much content each of these will need. So let's start working on that. So to do that, we just grab one. Okay. So I'm going to ignore the Brisbane QLD.gov site, going to ignore the yellow pages and start with the first real competitor. The reason I'm ignoring them, I'll ignore that directory as well, is because it's not really comparing like for like. So when we try to compare to a council website, there's Brisbane, yeah, that's likely the council website, or it might be the state government website. It's just not going to be a like-for-like comparison. What they need to do to rank is a lot easier than what the average website needs to do, because they've got that authority behind them of being through the council. And then Yellow Pages has a slightly different type of authority, but because they're such a massive website, and the other one that we see here is OneFlare. We quite often see on a lot of these type of keywords, we quite often see Gumtree as well, and they as well just depend on the overall authority of their website, not anything particular that they kind of do on these inner pages. So that's something that we will just compare these ones so we get a kind of a like for like. So what we're doing here is we're just seeing how much content these guys have. Okay, so really not a lot of content on this website. We've got probably about 200 words there, nothing too exciting. Stonemason, MMS Stone, okay. They've got a little bit more. Also, a cool feature of the Keywords Everywhere tool that we downloaded is the ability to right-click and analyze this page. And we get a total there of 801 words on the page. So when they say 801, they are counting absolutely everything. So for example, all of these words in the menu have been counted, and the same in the footer, which is how they get to 801, because there's probably only about 400 or 500 words in the actual middle section of the body of this page. So that essentially tells us that for our main keyword, we want to target about the 800 word mark. So if we go back to our document, this page here. We normally use fairly high-tech software to do these calculations for us, and to kind of do a lot more detail and not just look at the content. Look at about a few hundred other factors as well. But it's for the purpose of this, we can just use our what we see and have a look through there and kind of go from there. So we don't always need to get all too high tech. We can kind of do it the old-fashioned way and just have a look around, see what the other guys have, and make sure we're competing with that, because we don't want to go, if content is always really expensive, so we don't want to go wildly overboard if we don't need to. So what I'll do is I'll just continue to the next one. So Headstones Brisbane. Okay, so here's that MMS website again. They're ranking number 1. Okay, so similar content there. We can use our tool again. Okay, so 842. So what I'd say there is we want to beat them by a little bit. We will get some words from our menu and header and that type of thing. So 800 would probably be enough, but I'll just go 850 just to be sure that we're winning essentially. Okay. Do one more. Okay, so that's the same homepage that we worked out we needed 800 for. Okay, this one's a different one. Okay, they have very little. Let's check one more. Okay, so they have quite a bit there. As you can see by the fact that they do have so much, it's not content alone that's going to, get you to ranking number one. But we do have to make sure we at least kind of compete. So just jumping over to the Keywords Everywhere tool, it's saying there's 1140 words on that page. So we might make that one 1100. And one to go, so we might as well do that one as well. Okay, so I've got a couple of new ones. Okay, not too much on that one. This one seems to go on forever, so that would add up to be a decent chunk of content, but it's not over the top. So jumping over to Keywords Everywhere, so we can see this one has 612. So we might aim for this last one. We'll aim for around the 600 mark. It's a lot smaller keywords, so we don't want to invest too much money anyway. So yeah, around the 600 mark should be good. Okay, so up to this point, we have we've picked out a domain, we've got our hosting registered and set up. We have now looked for and found the keywords that are going to be relevant. We've worked out the URL structures that we need. On top of this, we're going to have the normal things like the about us, the contact us, etc. But these are the I guess money pages that are going to that we're going to rank things for. So they're obviously quite important. So from here, this will go off to the content writer, and then it will go off to the web developer to put together for us. And then we will come back. I would say that process is going to take about I'd say probably a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So we will come back with some more videos once we get all that done, and then we'll have a website that we can start working with. In the meantime, there might be a few things that we set up, but nothing major. So this might be the last video until we have a website to look at. And we're not going to go too crazy with web design because this obviously isn't for a client. It'll not going to be the prettiest website you've ever seen. We're just going to kind of throw something up and take those rankings because it really doesn't have to look good to rank on Google. It just has to tick all of Google's other boxes. So that's kind of the most important thing. Sites that look good often don't have all the rest of it in place. So yeah, you definitely don't need to look pretty to be able to rank a website. Okay, so that's about it. We'll be back soon once we have a website to look at.